Entertainment setup is very important for guys like me. If you're anything like me, you'll understand what I mean. Having your PC sometimes is just not enough. So you need your entertainment setup and everything else to go along with it. So more importantly is how your setup going to suit your entertainment needs. Well, this video is about my current setup. It doesn't necessarily mean I spend a lot of money for it. That's the whole point. Most of these things that you see actually cost very little or next to nothing. But then it doesn't mean you can have a nice setup just because it doesn't cost a lot of money. So here we go. Let me show you about my current setup. The keyboard is the ASIO L70 gaming keyboard. Well, when I first buying this keyboard, I wasn't looking for a gaming keyboard at all. What I was after was something with the proper volume knob. That's really all I'm after. And I needed a volume knob on the keyboard, and then I was looking around the shop, and there wasn't much that I have to offer. Anything that's on a cheaper price range, usually they have the digital ones where you press the button to go up and down, and then most of them are they only got the type where you do the function key and the volume up and down style, and those are not exactly that convenient. So I needed something with a knob. And well, the ones that have offered that suits my description are the high-end mechanical keyboards, which now I didn't want to spend all that much money for a volume knob keyboard. Luckily, I found the ASIO. They offer this one. It is a gaming keyboard. The keys doesn't lock, which is good. And it's got a blue lighting, which looks great. Simple design, the way I want it. And that volume knob is exactly the way I want a volume knob to be. And I found this perfect. It's pretty cheap and it's good. And here we have the Logitech G9 mouse. This is from a really good friend of mine, and it works well. I don't have very much to say about it. It's a good mouse. That's all I have to say about that. You can switch the casing, the outside casing, and it's got high DPIs. It's a great mouse. That's all I can say about that. It works with the Logitech software. It's pretty cool. And then up there we have it's a Logitech headset. I had that for a while. It's nothing expensive, but it works really, really well. It actually sounded very good too. It has a decent microphone where you does sound cancellation, all that. It's a great headset. It's a USB headset. I use it from time to time when I talk online, stuff like that. And then I put it on the side where I have a one of those cell phone holder. There, I hook on the side of the desk, and yeah, it holds the headphone for me, and it can save a lot of space instead of putting it on the wall or side of the table, the wire everywhere. Speaking of wire everywhere, I put out some effort to eliminate the wires on the ground. Before, obviously, the wires are all on the ground, and then I basically tape it up or tie it up near the bottom part of the table. So it worked out well that my feet doesn't have to be touching any of the wires while I'm on the computer. As far as the network goes, first I have that, as you can see up there, that's the access point that I reviewed the other day. And that access point is connected to my landlord's internet. I don't got my own, but that's good enough. And I have my router there, as you can see at the right side of the corner of the table, for my own purposes, for my local area network. Because for some reason, I couldn't connect any local area network stuff with his router, so I had to come up with the idea on my own. And also this way, I can eliminate so many connections connected to his network and causing his router to basically crash That happens a lot before, and now this way I can eliminate a lot of that from happening. So I have my router connected to my access point, and it worked out well. And my router does support the 5 gigahertz, so that also helps with interference. And it works this way. I can do a lot of stuff with the 5 gigahertz setup, as the laptop I have does support 5 gigahertz wireless, so that's good. And the cell phones I have and also support the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, so that worked out. And now, obviously, you're staring at the coffee tin right there underneath the monitor. One of the main purposes is to rise it up, of course, but I'm trying to think of a way to rise it up without having to spend a lot of money on the wall mount or the desk mount. And then I thought this coffee tin may come in handy, because recently I got a bunch of those magnet strips. Now you can cut it to pieces and then use it for whatever purpose you want. They're very much the same thing as the kitchen magnet. So I can use that tin for many applications, especially things like cable management. I can put one of those magnets on the USB cables and just store it right onto the tin. It will just stay there for convenience. So it worked out pretty well too. That USB hub there on the side, I drill a hole through the tin and it stays there well. It's levitated in the air, above the keyboard, so when I plug something in, it's not gonna get in the way of what I'm doing. It's good that way, so it worked out. That speaker there is it's actually a Bluetooth portable speaker from Sony. It's the X33 model. It works really well as the Bluetooth speaker. It sounded really good. It's got decent bass, and you can do very good stereo surround with it. Like, it's right in the center, but I can easily feel the sounds from the left and the right and stuff like that. It's a really decent speaker. It doesn't go all that loud, but with an environment like this, it actually sounded just as good as if you actually have 2 speakers on the side. So I decided to use it as my main speaker when I'm on the computer monitor. And that actually worked out really well. And instead of using the Bluetooth, though, because there is a delay when you use it like that, I actually just plug a stereo cable in to that speaker, and I had the power connected. And then, yeah, it's great. It actually, I can, stress enough that it just sounded good. And the monitor is actually new, but it's the cheapest I can find a while ago. It's a BenQ 22-inch. I think the model is GW2270 or something like that. It's a decent monitor. It's nothing special about it. It's not an IPS, but it doesn't even support HDMI. But it's a new monitor. It look good. It definitely beats what I have before this point, because my good monitors I had sold them last year for other reasons that nothing to do with this video. So yeah, so that's that. It's a decent monitor for now. And then we move over here. As you can see, that case there is the Half X from Cooler Master, and I did not buy it. It was a strange situation. Basically, I got it for free from a good friend, so that's great. Up there, it's a 19-inch monitor that I have. It's an Acer monitor. I have it hooked onto the computer case, and then use it that way, trying to save space. And then it turned out looking pretty cool this way. Right underneath that, there's a remote for the LED lights. And speaking of LED lights, I got some RGB LED lights inside the computer case. It looks good, as well as behind my monitor. That actually make the whole setup feel much nicer, and it actually does the trick for making it easy on your eyes when you use the computer. I always thought that just people giving excuses to getting those LEDs, but that doesn't work that for that fashion, so that's good. But anyway, the second monitor up here, this has another purpose. As you can see, you see Windows XP on the screen right now. That's actually running on the VMware. The VMware 12 supports natively supports the graphic card capability, the 3D support. It actually worked very, very well. So I have been playing some old games on Windows XP, and I've been testing a few things on Windows 7 that I don't want to do on my main system. And it worked out really well. And yeah, I just used that monitor for basically that, for VMware or whatever other purposes I have, that's secondary. So it's nice out there, and the way my chair is set up. Now I have my head up a little bit. It's comfortable to look at it. So that's good. As for how I hooked it onto the side of the case, I think I'll make a separate video about that. It's nothing special, but it's kind of cool though. I'll make a separate video about that. Above that, as you can see, there's a hard drive sitting there with the hard drive bay. That's a USB 3.0 external hard drive bay, basically. It has 2 ports. I got a couple of drives I can put out there, and I use it sometimes for data transfer or whatever other purposes like just sort of come out. So that's great. USB 3.0 is very fast on the USB 3.0 port, and that worked out well itself. And as for the computer, well, what's inside is nothing new. I got an Intel i5 750 in there running it right now. I think 3.8 gigahertz. Didn't push it too far. 3.8 is good enough for what it is. And then I got 12 gigabytes of RAM in there. About RAM, it's kind of a waste in a way. Since I want to use VMware, I decided that I needed more RAM. I have 4 gigabytes of G-Scale 1600s on the computer before, so that like just sitting there. And then the main RAM I have are those 2400 megahertz DDR3s, but they're 8 gigabyte. So I wanted more than an 8 gigabyte. So I put those 16s in. Basically, I slow the speed down for them. And now it's okay. For i5 750, you really don't need more than 1600 megahertz of speed. It doesn't do much of anything, so I thought that's okay. Now I got 12 gigabytes of RAM running at 1500 something megahertz, so it worked good. It worked good that way. So 12 gig of RAM on a gigabyte motherboard. I always like gigabyte motherboard. It's a good motherboard. It supports USB 3, Crossfire, and SLI and all that stuff. I got a really, really big CPU cooler in it, but then it's sort of in a passive mode. I didn't put any fan on it. I think it's a site, and then because I basically got the motherboard and CPU off a friend. It's kind of a tray / some cache thing. It's one of his old rig, and that cooler just on it. I got a case fan on the top and a case fan in the back. It actually just worked out. It's a really big heatsink, and without a lot of fans, it's not very loud, so that's a good thing too. So as for video card, I have the it's also a gigabyte. It's a gigabyte Radeon R9 280, 3 gigabytes of memory on that, and it's an OC edition running at 1072 or something like that megahertz. Actually, I should look it up. I keep saying something like that because I'm basically talking off my memory that I'm not really sure. I haven't touched overclocking and that stuff too much because not like before. These things doesn't improve performance that much anymore, even if you're overclocked. Unless if you really have an underpowered CPU, you want to push it a little bit, like the i5 750 I got. You can see some differences there, but aside from that, GPU overclock and stuff like that, unless if you want to push it and make it unstable a little bit, I just don't really see the point very much right now. It's OC edition anyway. It runs good as is. It runs good on everything. Yeah, so that's that. It's not a 280X though, too bad. It is sort of slower than that. You can kind of feel that some games you cannot max, but that's something to do with CPU too. I really don't know. I just know that it runs really well for everything. And then That's all I can say about that. As far as hard drive goes, I have a 240 gigabytes of SSD as my main drive. It's a Mashkin. I never had a Mashkin SSD. I read a few reviews, descriptions. It seems to be a decent drive for a budget SSD, so I got one of those. It's really cheap though, and yeah, I run Windows on Windows 10 right now. Upgraded from the Windows 7, the free upgrade. So far, I don't have any problem with Windows 10. Actually, liking it very much. So that's that. Windows 10 Home Edition 64-bit is what I'm running right now. So I just talked about the Moshkin hard drive. So what other drives I got? I'm trying to remember from my memory. Oh, right. So I got 2 terabytes. The same thing I had before, there for backup. And then 1 terabyte drive in it, also for backup and other stuff. I actually put games on it. I really don't mind them to load a little bit longer. It's fine. It works well that way. A friend of mine recently had a broken hard drive on a laptop. It's a 750 gigabyte, 2.2.5 inch hard drive, and it only had like one bad sector. So I put that thing in the computer for various things like backups that I really don't care all that much, but don't want to delete them yet, and then those VMware stuff that I don't feel bad for losing. So it has becoming a really practical drive that's still chugging along. It's working well in that fashion. Of course, it's not trustworthy, so I won't put anything important in that drive, but it's there. No, 750 gig, good. And it doesn't have an optical. I did some cable management as good as I can make it to be. So yeah, the computer works well in that big case. So now we get the PC out of the way. We can actually turn over here. This thing is a 19-inch NEC monitor. I had it for a long time. It has a built-in speaker and everything. It's really good. But then I couldn't figure out a purpose for it now until I bought that thing there. It's a RCA to VGA adapter. I got that a few months ago off Amazon. So I can put any console on that monitor or any VGA monitor, which is cool. Right now I have PS2 running. That's a Gran Turismo 4 showing on the display. Yeah, this stuff is good. And then I made it portable too. That is portable. I have a power bar mounted in the back. And then I got those nail screws on the side to organize the cables. And I have another extension cord. Just to make it longer if you need to. And you can push it anywhere. It's got wheels on it. So you can push it to whatever and then just do whatever it is that you need. This monitor does have the DVI port and the VGA port, and now the with the adapter you can put all the RCA cables in it. So this is great, and also I can use this monitor on a PC as well. I'm waiting for a couple of adapters, and when I get, I can probably connect all that, including the television, and So that's great. Sometimes when I do retro things, like you see Windows XP and a widescreen computer, that's good. But when you play an old game, sometimes you want the more authentic feeling. So, on a 4x3 monitor, I can just simply connect it to it and run in at 4x3, which is cool. I did it with the Need for Speed 4 yesterday, and it feels really great to be on this monitor. Well, here's the TV. Again, nothing fancy. It's an old RCA 42-inch LCD. Even got a dark spot there at the bottom. You see right in the middle. That's not good. But no, that's the only problem with this television. Everything else works. So I don't really gotta complain. It's connected to the PlayStation 3 there. But then really just lately I just use it for the Blu-rays and Netflix. Or whenever I finally come across some of the import games that I wanted, then it'll be great. Again, with the PlayStation, just PS3 is very much obsolete. So some of the things. So I got a receiver there set up too. So the receiver's working with the big 12-inch Fisher speakers, and it's good. The PS3, and then the controller can go underneath the TV stand. The VCR and DVD is working. It's connected as well with this switch. So yeah, you can do a lot of stuff. Can connect to PC and everything. This is great. So the entertainment unit works well with that. Shelves. When I first moved in here, I already got the couple of shelves right here, and I love them. This is so much space where you can put stuff. So yeah, up here, I have a VR glasses thing for cell phones. This thing works really well. My friend gave me this as a little gift. It works well, but it doesn't have a button though. But that's okay. Just hook your phone up to a gamepad or something like that. It'll work really good. We'll get to this thing sometime. That's a Judas Priest record I have. I don't got a record player, but that's really cool because you know how records are. They're really big. It's really cool to look at. That itself is a work of art, like a poster to me. So I'll put it up there. And here we have OS2 operating system inbox, not open. Got it a while ago. I think it was actually many years ago when I had that ship I found from work series that I found this thing while I was working at a recycling plant. So I kept it. It's a cool little thing. It's really heavy though, but well, stuff like that's cool to me. The Namco arcade game things, I still got that. Bunch of random CDs out there. So basically, I don't have very much stuff anymore like I used to have. I used to have all kinds of DVDs and VHS and stuff like that, but now not really. This area I just put random tours and whatever that I commonly use. I leave it right there. Here I got some stuff. I got the Zool Gatekeeper thing still from the Ghostbusters. This Kane action figure. That is not a bat pin. That is actually a drinking cup from a restaurant named the Modern Toilet. When me and my wife went on a trip to Taiwan a couple of years ago. So I kept that as a souvenir. It's pretty cool though. Sometimes it fools people. It's kind of funny. Back there is my military photo when I went for military. They take a picture when the training is completed. Where was I? There I am. Looks like an asshole. Anyway, here's my Genesis. It's sitting there. Well, my console, see? I just put it on the shelf now. But I have the cables already, so whenever I want to plug it in and use it, I can easily, instead of laying them out. Doesn't really know where to plug everything. That requires a separate shelf itself. Here's my baseball card collection. Don't have all that much, but still got some. There's still some really cool ones in here. Like I always like this series. When I first bought those, they had this nice smell on them. It's got a scent, but that smell's gone. Got a Jeter card, silver signature. That one's cool. Of course, that's not all. It's just some of them. I got some of those Japanese baseball cards that I used to collect in the 90s. It's cool to see some of those players ended up in the majors. Like they say, Rabu. He played for the Yankees. Unfortunately, he went suicide. Years later. Here I got some camera stuff, cables, another random shelf of stuff. And then I got my little collections of video games and Blu-rays. It's a very small collection, but lately I've become very, very picky to what I want. Such as Blu-rays, only the ones that I actually really wanted to collect, that I will buy. That's why the collection is very small. But it's good that way. I don't need a bunch of junk that I really don't want and then take out a lot of space. Well, PlayStation 2 is actually a different story. It's more like whatever I have. Didn't buy very much PS2 games, but maybe that will change. Here's some PlayStation stuff. Japanese PlayStation game boxes always looks really cool. I love collecting those whenever I get a chance. I mean, let's just do a little comparison. Look at this. It's thick. It feels dedicated. And the casing, it's for PlayStation. It's got a PlayStation logo right on top. Everywhere. Inside, it's got enough space for a proper booklet. Things like that. I always love those ones. Compared to North American style, which is just a simple CD case. Like any other CD and a booklet. It's a little boring. You can use any case, which is a good thing, because if you break it, you can use any case. So that's smart, but just doesn't feel as cool as having one of those, because it's dedicated for your PlayStation games. And a few Dreamcast stuff. Not a lot. Here it has small collections of PS3 games. Well, some of those are not mine. The Call of Duty's not mine. Last of Us is not mine. Street Fighter's not mine. But yeah, everything else is mine. These games, my friend left it at my place when we played together. But yeah, everything else is mine. This is really cool though. This is the steel case. I found this for cheap. I plan to play again at some time. I don't know when yet. Lately, it's actually kind of crazy. Can't do very much gaming. But I still want to do this one more time with this version and do a video about it. Really want to do that. Well, this one is mine actually. Anyway, wrestling games, stuff like that. I kind of stopped buying for PS3. Only thing that I wanted for PS3 now are some of the import games and stuff like that. I mean, let's face it, PS3 is very much obsolete. Here I got a very small collection of NES games. I talked about those already. And then some Genesis games. Here's some N64 games. I haven't really got a chance to do anything N64 because I only got one controller, and that controller is actually no good. So the stick gets kind of broken, so I'm still waiting for an opportunity to get another controller, and then I can do some N64 game videos. Here's some Super Nintendo games, Super Famicom games. It's a baseball game. This is such a nostalgia. I found this from the game shop, and then yeah, I got it in a heartbeat. This is one of those games that I play in the 90s when I was still a preteen. This game is what I played the most. It's really cool. I always remember that cover picture. I remember I used to draw that all the time. More baseball game. Here's a drag racing game that I talked about a little bit, and another baseball game. F-Zero, Super Mario World, stuff like that. Not a lot. Some, but not a lot. There's some Genesis games in box. A little bit of Xbox games. And then random stuff. There's a Raspberry Pi. You have it. This is my current setup. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I will see you next time. Take care.